Well, the reason we're coming back to you today with a one-year program and not a four-year longer-term commitment is because of uncertainty in Washington. Now, I think we need to be precise with our language. The Federal Transit Administration has not rejected the full funding grant agreement. They have declined to sign it at the minimum amount of time that they could sign it. And what they said in particular is that they wanted to evaluate the Caltrain project against all the other projects that might be included in the President's budget, which I don't think is an unreasonable thing to do. It's a brand new administration. They're coming into a project that's teed up for an agreement, and they don't know that project from Adam. So we have to let that play out until the President's budget is submitted, which is probably going to be sometime around May. At that point, we will know whether or not they will execute the agreement. That's the representation FTA has made, that we're not going to give you another delay. We're going to tell you one way or the other. If you're in the budget, we'll sign the agreement. If you're not in the budget, better luck next time. The action by the State Department of Finance was simply acknowledging that fact. We have two $600 million commitments to this project. One, we hope, from the federal government, the other from the state of California out of the High-Speed Rail Bond Act. And each is dependent on the other. So essentially we're in the place where if the feds pull their money out, the state might do the same thing. If either of them pull their money out, we're in trouble. So the one is contingent on the other. If we can solve the federal problem, we will solve the state problem at the same time. Now, it's conceivable we won't, which is, again, why we're here before you to say, let's get the rest of the program moving for 1 year and then come back. Now, the other thing, I don't know that you've had enough conversation about it today, so I want to draw your attention to it. The other reason we are delaying is because we need to move forward with the financing. That financing also requires FTA approval. Now, it's not a discretionary grant approval like Caltrain's electrification program, where, as the name implies, there's a lot of discretion about whether FTA could say yes or no. These financings are fairly common around the country, and their approval in the past has been a pretty ministerial action. It has not been a big deal policy debate. But we have Caltrain cars in that financing, the same cars that are part of the electrification program. So it's all wrapped up together. And we are, I think, a little bit nervous, given the uncertainty with the discretionary grant, whether the financing might be in the same trouble. And the financing is Caltrain, but it's also BART, it's also Muni, it's all kinds of stuff that we're trying to get done. So I wish I could give you more certainty and more assurance, but the reason we're hedging our bet here with a one-year program is in light of the fact that there is uncertainty that I can't give you an assurance about right now. And so we want to let it play out and then react to it when we finally get a decision later in the spring.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it. I think that clarity was needed. I mean, this is very complex and why we're doing what we're doing, and so thank you for that explanation.